And so it was one of a number of examples that aren't always sexy and don't attract a lot of headlines. Of where issues that we've raised in the G20 get adopted and then a bunch of work gets done. And the following year you start seeing action, and slowly we strengthen and build up international norms. If you look at the issue of IT and the digital economy, we were able to get the G20 to adopt. A range of principles about an open internet, net neutrality. Making sure that businesses and vendors and providers aren't discriminated across borders. Reflecting a lot of the foundational principles that have led to this digital revolution over the last several years. And that will, in turn, generate a bunch of new work. And there will still be conflicts about how people deal with censorship or how they deal with cybersecurity issues. But we chip away at it, and over time what you get it's sturdier international. Norms that everybody abides to and will help all countries grow and help people prosper. So my parting words at the G20 were, having watched this process over the last 8 years. I think we all have to recognize these are turbulent times. A lot of countries are seeing volatile politics. Sometimes you read the headlines and you can get discouraged about whether the international community and leadership are able to shape solutions fast enough for the scale of the problems, whether it's migrants and refugees. Or climate change, or terrorism, or making sure the international economy is working for everybody. But then when you look back over the course of 8 years, actually you find out things have gotten better, not always as fast as we'd like, but in significant ways. You look at the progress we've made on the financial system. The American banking system now has $700 billion more in capital. It is much safer and much sturdier. But it's not just us. Because of the G20. You also have a Basel III agreement in which all countries are having to strengthen their capital requirements and put in place. Some basic safeguards to prevent what happened at Lehman's. And that's true across the board. So, as always, I'd always like to see even more get done. But I'm cautiously optimistic about the progress that we made. I tell my staff when they feel worn out sometimes that better is always good. It may not be everything that needs to get done, but if it's better than before we started, we'll take it. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Barack Obama. Post-Iran nuclear accord announcement press conference. Delivered July 15, White House, Washington, D. C. Good afternoon, everybody. Yesterday was a historic day. The comprehensive, long-term deal that we achieved with our allies and partners too. Prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon represents a powerful display of American leadership and diplomacy. It shows what we can accomplish when we lead from a position of strength and a position of principle. When we unite the international community around a shared vision, and we resolve to solve problems peacefully. As I said yesterday, it's important for the American people. and Congress to get a full opportunity to review this deal. That process is now underway. I've already reached out to leaders in Congress on both sides of the aisle. My national security team has begun offering extensive briefings. I expect the debate to be robust, and that's how it should be. This is an important issue. Our national security policies are stronger and more effective. When they are subject to the scrutiny and transparency that democracy demands. And as I said yesterday, the details of this deal matter very much. That's why our team worked so hard for so long to get the details right. At the same time, as this debate unfolds, I hope we don't lose sight of the larger picture, the opportunity that this agreement represents. As we go forward, it's important for everybody to remember the alternative and the fundamental choice that this moment represents. With this deal, we cut off every single one of Iran's pathways to a nuclear program, a nuclear weapons program. And Iran's nuclear program will be under severe limits for many years. Without a deal, those pathways remain open. There would be no limits on Iran's nuclear program, and Iran could move closer to a nuclear bomb. With this deal, we gain unprecedented, around-the-clock monitoring of Iran's key nuclear facilities. And the most comprehensive and intrusive inspection and verification regime ever negotiated. Without a deal, those inspections go away. and we lose the ability to closely monitor Iran's program and detect any covert nuclear weapons program. With this deal, if Iran violates its commitments, there will be real consequences. Nuclear-related sanctions that have helped to cripple the Iranian economy will snap back into place. Without a deal, the international sanctions regime will unravel, with little ability to reimpose them. With this deal, we have the possibility of peacefully resolving a major threat to regional and international security. Without a deal, we risk even more war in the Middle East, and other countries in the region would feel compelled to pursue their own nuclear programs. Threatening a nuclear arms race in the most volatile region in the world. As I said yesterday, even with this deal, we will continue to have profound differences with Iran, its support for terrorism and its use of proxies to destabilize parts of the Middle East. Therefore, the multilateral arms embargo on Iran will remain in place for an additional 5 years. And restrictions on ballistic missile technology will remain for 8 years. In addition, the United States will maintain our own sanctions related to Iran's support for terrorism. Its ballistic missile program, and its human rights violations. And will continue our unprecedented security cooperation with Israel and continue to deepen our partnerships with the Gulf states. But the bottom line is this. This nuclear deal meets the national security interests of the United States and our allies. It prevents the most serious threat, Iran obtaining a nuclear weapon. which would only make the other problems that Iran may cause even worse. That's why this deal makes our country, and the world, safer and more secure. It's why the alternative: no limits on Iran's nuclear program, no inspections. An Iran that's closer to a nuclear weapon, the risk of a regional nuclear arms race, and a greater risk of war, all that would endanger our security. That's the choice that we face, if we don't choose wisely. I believe future generations will judge us harshly for letting this moment slip away. And no one suggests that this deal resolves all the threats that Iran poses to its neighbors or the world. Moreover, realizing the promise of this deal will require many years of implementation and hard work. It will require vigilance and execution. But this deal is our best means of assuring that Iran does not get a nuclear weapon. And, from the start, that has been my number one priority, our number one priority. We've got a historic chance to pursue a safer and more secure world, an opportunity that may not come again in our lifetimes. As President and as Commander-in-Chief, I am determined to seize that opportunity. So with that, I'm going to take some questions. And let me see who I'm starting off with. Here you go. I got it. Andrew Beatty, AFP. Question, thank you, MR. President. Yesterday, you said the deal offered a chance at a new direction in relations with Iran. What steps will you take to enable a more moderate Iran? And does this deal allow you to more forcefully counter Iran's destabilizing actions in the region, quite aside from the nuclear question? Thank you. President Obama, Andrew, if you don't mind, just because I suspect that there's going to be a common set of questions that are touched on. I promise I will get to your question. But I want to start off just by stepping back and reminding folks of what is at stake here. And I already did in my opening statement. But I just want to reiterate it because I've heard already some of the objections to the deal. The starting premise of our strategy with respect to Iran has been that it would be a grave threat to the United States and to our allies if they obtained a nuclear weapon. And so everything that we've done over the last 6.5 years has been designed to make sure that we address that number one priority. That's what the sanctions regime was all about. That's how we were able to mobilize the international community. Including some folks that we are not particularly close to abide by these sanctions. That's how these crippling sanctions came about. Was because we were able to gain global consensus that Iran having a nuclear weapon would be a problem for everybody. That's the reason that Iran's accounts got frozen and they were not able to get money for the oil sales that they've made. That's the reason that they had problems operating with respect to international Commerce, because we built that international consensus around this very specific, narrow, but profound issue, the possibility of Iran getting a nuclear weapon.